Having a brand identity is a necessity, and in 2019, being on social media is also a necessity. Today, we speak with Nicole and Alicia of the Spark Social to learn how to truly and authentically brand yourself on social media.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. Our unique team helps small businesses grow by providing essential marketing expertise.
Hello, and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. I am Bill with W. Parmentier Photography.
I'm Justin with Justin Kerr Design.
And I'm Alicia with the Spark Social.
And together we make up
The Marketing Essentials team. All right. So not only am I here, Alicia from the Spark Social, I have my business partner and co-founder, Nicole, as a guest today.
I feel like I should put like an applause track here. You know?
Oh, that's perfect. I love it. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate
What is
it.
this, like
Again.
the
Well, I know
15th, 20th time? What?
Commute was really tough.
It was real hard. I had to get up from my desk and everything.
That
So
can be tough some days.
Hey, a little bit.
thanks for making it in. And today's topic is how to brand yourself on social media. And I thought, I can't do this on my own because Nicole and I, we really put a lot of thought and time into working with our clients to help them authentically brand themselves on social. And I would say our own social media too. We really put a lot of emphasis on that.
Yeah, I think it's super important to us to show up as authentically as possible. And so it does make sense for both of us to be here and be our goofy selves talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because my question was, we talk about authenticity a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, if you had three things about you that are authentic as a team?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't know this was going to be a quiz today, did you?
So I think the most important thing for us is to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
The second most important thing is just to be real about, our struggles. Transparency is a big part of what we do, both for ourselves, our clients, and sort of, with our team. And so we're just very much like if we're struggling with something, we're talking about it on our social media. And
So fun, transparency, and
I know.
I think passionate.
Yeah.
We have fun, but we're serious marketers. Like we're serious about what we do.
Yeah, we know what we're doing, and we know how to make it fun and be very clear about it with the people that are following us.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
We're serious, and we realize that when we work with people, it's their marketing budget, and we're serious about focused on results for our clients. So fun, but serious and transparent.
Transparently, seriously, funny.
yeah. Seriously, transparent, fun.
Yes. There we go.
Seriously transparent fun.
There's
Oh
a
my
tagline
gosh.
for you.
That's perfect.
Love it. Write that down, somebody.
Found a new tagline for you.
But I think, so when we think about a brand, right? Like we've been talking about this topic, and it's not like it's beating a dead horse because there's so many ways to brand yourself today. And so you have your visuals, you have your logo.
What are you laughing
No,
at?
I'm just like brand horse. I see what she did there. She was putting the two together.
Did I? But did I? I don't even know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, this
So-
is going to be real fun.
No,
It's
but
gonna
there
be
are-
the
you're
best
right.
podcast of the year.
You're right. There are a lot of things to talk about within the realm of branding.
Right. And message and content and being authentically you and being aligned with who you are so that you resonate with the right audience. So many levels of branding yourself and so many ways to bring it to the table. But branding on social media, it's kind of
What does that mean?
right. Yeah. What does that even mean?
So I would say branding yourself on social goes beyond your visuals and, like your logo presence and all the stuff that Justin works on for us.
It's part of it, but
That's definitely part of it. But also your ability to show up and the voice and the personality that you show up with online. There's a lot of businesses and a lot of individuals get really stuck on what should I sound like, and they end up sounding kind of boring and a little dry.
like they're
and
writing a brochure.
Absolutely,
Is that because they're afraid?
I would say that's probably the primary reason is they may be afraid to, a lot of times we get people who are afraid to alienate anyone or they are afraid that, people won't take them seriously if they show up like their normal selves.
Okay. Well, I can understand that fear, but we've talked a lot in different episodes on branding on that first part that you talked about where, okay, I don't want to alienate anybody. I feel like I have to market to everybody. So how do you walk them through that process and convince them that, no, you don't want to sell to everybody. You don't want to market to everybody.
I mean, it's definitely a challenge because, like you said, everybody feels like, oh, I'm going to market to everyone. But the reality is that you have a core market. You have somebody who you resonate with naturally and who is going to resonate with you and what you do and needs what you do. And so what we usually do is walk them through the process of actually identifying who those people are and then helping them understand who they are, who their audience is, and who they want to be to their audience. And so that usually comes across with a variety of, in-depth market research, but also just asking them to take a voice analysis, tell us about themselves, tell us who they see themselves working with.
So what's the voice analysis? What's that?
So that is our social media voice analysis, is our unique system of giving your brand a voice. Because if you think about it, on your website, you have content. It's written a specific way for a website to read. With your visuals and photography, your brand's going to come across with that. Your logo, your brand guide, again, your brand is there in a visual or graphic aspect. However, social media is not a website. It is not a brochure. It's meant to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
And so it's very important for us to have our clients' voice nailed down. And so we have a set of, I think it's like 20 something questions. We bring the clients through it and we extract pieces of information that really gets to the core of who they are and how they should sound on social media to resonate with the right audience.
Yeah.
And we can give that link to people if they want to go through it, right, Nicole? Can you sign off on that?
Yes, signing off. You all heard it here.
I think you just did whether you wanted to or not.
Wanted to or not. That happens a lot.
All
We'll
in favor,
definitely
say aye.
We'll put the social media voice analysis link in the show notes. Some of the things that are included in that voice are
Like some of the questions or just what are we getting out of it?
Yes. I mean, some of the questions or some of the things we get out of it would be like tone,
formality, opinions. We get a lot of opinions. And so it helps us guide the conversation because what it really does is allow us to start a conversation on what our audience what our client is looking for from their audience and what kind of interactions they want. And so, can we use hashtags? Can we use emojis? And usually, if they say no, we're usually like, okay, why not? It also helps us identify things that we're not allowed to say because we do work with, certain fields, industries like finance and attorneys and things like that who can't call themselves experts. They can't use the word guaranteed or they could end up in lots of trouble.
Okay.
It also,
but they can use emojis though, right?
Some of them can.
It's just a little gavel.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that happens. Yeah.
Little ambulance.
It's like, the guy running behind it. Oh no. Sorry.
You all laugh, but we've definitely done stuff like that before. Because if it's not attention grabbing and dynamic, it's just going to fall flat. And so, it's going to get lost. That's a big part of what we're doing is what does your audience need to hear from you in order for you to get their attention? And sometimes it is something like a couple of emojis at the end of a post just to make it more fun and more palatable. Sometimes it's, just throwing the face of the business, who are the business owners up on the page. And that goes a long way.
Yeah. So I think, visually you have to take into account, we do a little bit of a color grid, some visuals. That's a part. It's not really the voice. It still has a part though.
Absolutely.
We do that as part of the brand on social media. I think with the voice, my biggest takeaway or one of the things that is really important is we work with a lot of brands or companies that have multiple people who are posting on social media, or we will post and they might have a manager who pops in or somebody who wants to come in. And the social media voice or brand strategy really aligns everybody within the organization so that you don't have one person posting, all fun and humorous, where the next person is really, really serious. And people pick up on that.
Absolutely.
They can pick up on when a post doesn't sound like the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That helps create that cohesive voice and presence from everyone in the industry or in that particular company.
So you give them a guide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so with all of the research that we do, everything that we bring together, and then sort of the brand voice analysis, we come back with sort of an overarching theme to what the voice is and who, what that brand is and who they are, so that the brand could potentially live outside of the owners. So, because we do work with a lot of large businesses, but also businesses that are maybe 5 to 10 to 15 people. And so you end up with the owner sort of being the brand presence or the brand voice. And so what we're helping them do is actually get out of that and sort of step out of that personality as like their personality or their marketing team's personality being the personality of the brand. And if that's working for the brand, we can sort of maintain that voice and that presence, but make it more cohesive for anyone to be able to step in and pick up on those same traits.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is you should have, so when you're talking about branding, like if you go from the website to social, it all looks the same. But you should also sound the same. Like, so say somebody comes into your business and they're talking to you and you're educating them and this is the tone, you're very friendly and laid back. And then they go to your social media and it doesn't kind of like resonate. It doesn't stay the same. It doesn't align.
No consistency.
Yeah, it doesn't align. So, they speak to you on the phone. Like we have a client who never really sees his customers in person. It's all over the phone. And so our goal with social on LinkedIn and Facebook for this particular client was to create that conversation and be consistent with who they were speaking to on the phone with the content that we're putting out on social for this client. So it's all very, very aligned and it's one voice.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the first part. I think that's like the more technical approach to it. You can have this strategy, right? We can put you through this voice analysis, but the most important part, in my opinion, tell me what you think, Nicole.
Well, so I think that if you put all of this work behind your social media strategy and behind your brand voice and behind knowing who you are and knowing who your audience is, and you don't bother to show up, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So that's it. It sort of ends up being the forefront of what you're doing.
All right. So you got to explain to anybody in the audience who might not know what you mean by showing up.
So showing up is
just being right here, sitting.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just sit in front of your computer and hope that that's enough. You need to actually post. So
there goes my whole strategy.
Yeah.
I'm out the door. See ya.
It's beyond just posting information. You can post valuable content and your people will resonate with that and they'll find it useful, but they're really looking to know more about who you are as the business owner and as the brand, the face of the brand. Like, who is the brand? Why does the brand matter? Showing up and showing your face and being that genuine, authentic, person is what really, I think, keeps people coming back for more.
I found that to be true in my own rebrand. I try to put out an article every week or so, and I go back and I look at the analytics, and there's a lot of good content that I'm putting out about branding and about design. The post that has the most hits is the one that I wrote about becoming a pirate, embracing the pirate. So you're right. People want to know that story. They want to know the authentic you.
Agreed.
People do business with people.
Yep.
So you can give them, and I feel like businesses are shy on social media. Like they want to put out the link to the article or they want to put down the download our guide or sign up for this, but they don't want to show up. They literally don't want to show up.
Yeah. It's because it's easier. It's easier to put the link out there. You don't have to, think about who you are. You don't have to run the risk that somebody's going to reject you for who you are.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is a huge, rejection is a big thing for people. Nobody wants to be rejected.
Yeah, I know.
There's an app for that does the swipe right, swipe left for business like networking.
Really?
So, really?
Yep.
Oh, actually, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
They actually have one for photographers too, believe it or not.
Goodness. Of course they do. It's a little disconcerting. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. So business owners have a lot. They really struggle with how do I show up as my authentic self? And that's, I think, why you see people like us who are like, okay, well, let's help you out. Let's figure out who is this authentic self and, how does that brand need to show up online? And we go from there.
Right. So your message has to be, a really difficult part for us is getting our clients to craft that message, that authentic message where they're passionate and they're really going to stand behind this message. But the other thing is we can post it, right? We can come up with content and fun word it, little short posts. But if they're showing up like with video, Facebook Lives, behind the scene photography, like quick snapshots, that's really going to bring the message to the forefront versus just a stock image or.
Well, and I mean, it's not even so much that it's going to bring the message, because it will help, present the brand in its as its authentic self. But people love that kind of content so much that what it really does, in my opinion, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, is it provides the feedback that like the platforms need to know that people are engaging with the content.
True.
So that when you do post something that's a little bit more promotional or more, geared towards it's valuable content, but it does run the risk of not showcasing you as much as you'd like.
Yeah.
It allows it to show up to more people, and it gives them an opportunity to sort of like, they can get in your head, because now they've seen you so much. Sorry, I'm talking with my hands now, but they've seen you so much show up authentically that when they're reading something from you, they're actually reading it as you might read it. And that's to me, that's the symbol of the sign of a really good brand.
Because they've made a connection with you.
They've made that connection to such a degree that like they can read it in your voice. I've hundreds of people that I do that with now. Justin, Alicia, Bill.
And I think the value in that is if you read something that is not on brand, you know it right away.
Oh, yeah. It's exactly
that doesn't sound like that.
Doesn't sound right. Yeah, for sure.
It's too stuffy sometimes when it's not coming from you or from your true voice. It's too removed from, and the readers, and they can tell.
Oh, God, yes.
So that's why I think video is a super powerful way to show up, because on video, you have no choice but to be you. Yeah, you can't hire an actor.
I mean, you can hide it, but it's hard.
Yeah. No, it's no fun that way either.
True. Very true.
Yeah, it's going to come across as if you are, I guess, awkward, when you're trying to be something you're not.
Sort of like our promo video for the webinar. Remember the first version of that?
Yeah, we were trying to be too professional.
My gosh, that's so bad.
Just let us be
it
ourselves.
was just so bad. We were reading this teleprompter off of my laptop, and it was a video, so you could see us. Our heads were moving with as we were talking. We weren't looking at the camera. It was like
part of it was that we had just started working together.
Oh, sure.
We weren't
Absolutely.
comfortable with each other yet.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But you're right. We weren't being ourselves.
No, not at all.
And actually, if you look at the outtakes,
that was us being ourselves.
That's us, right? The promo video is lame, but the outtakes are. We should have used that video.
Which that video is actually getting more hits than the promo has.
Oh, I love it.
Go figure.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me either.
Just be you, even with the mistakes, the bloopers, I guess.
Yeah,
gosh, yeah.
It's tough for somebody like me who wants to have everything perfect. It's like, you look at it and go, Justin, stop with that.
I mean, I'm going to nod too.
Can you hear the rattling coming from Justin's head right now?
Yes. No, I think a lot of people need to let go.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is. It's very hard. But if you can, that's more endearing.
Oh, yeah.
It's more natural. People are going to respond, and they like to know that none of us are perfect. That we're human.
Sure. Yeah. I think there's definitely a time and a place for professional photography and the professional videos.
Gosh,
but sometimes on social, you just exactly.
Otherwise, I get a problem.
But sometimes on social media, you just need to hold fast to like the message you're trying to get across. Here's a big one, and just show up. And it doesn't have to be a perfect video. And so Nicole and I do this a lot with the Spark, right? Mm-hmm. So we hold our clients accountable. So we're trying to hold ourselves accountable for social, and we do Facebook Lives, and sometimes they're not the best.
They devolve into giggle fits.
Yeah. And then, other times they're not planned, and we're just like, yeah, we need to get on there and we need to talk about this because this is a message that we really believe in. Mm-hmm. And that's just authentically us, unedited, unscripted.
Guys posted a photo the other day. It was black and white, and you're like standing in the
Throwback Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Throwback Thursday. I love that photo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The reason I do is because, one, it's so authentically you guys, right?
Yes.
But even if I didn't know you, what that conveys is this would be a fun team to work with.
Right.
And you can see it's like, yes, we're professional. We're dressed professional. We're in a professional environment, but we're not taking ourselves so seriously that we can't have fun. Right. And that was one of the things at the beginning of the episode we talked about is like, hey, one of our, part of our brand is fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that photo captures it absolutely perfectly, which is why when I commented, I said, please use this on your website because I think it's a great it speaks volumes about who you are, and people get it like that without having to write 4 paragraphs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. I think if you look at our lives, our photography, our logo, and just our brand in general, like I've handed
a website.
Someday the website. I've handed that card to people, and we just had this happen last week with a prospect where we handed the card to him at the end of the meeting, and it had been a fairly long meeting, but we'd had some fun with it, and I handed him the card, and he like flipped it over, looked at everything, and he was like, "Wow, this is fun." And I was like, "Yes, it is." Nailed it.
Yeah, maybe we should make the next set of cards scratch and sniff, just up the fun.
I don't know how much that costs, but I like it.
Only if they smell like really yummy things, like cupcakes.
Yeah, like a cinnamon roll or something.
Not like sushi.
No, Alicia, not like sushi.
No.
I was thinking like strawberries.
Yeah.
It was definitely cupcakes.
Or cinnamon.
Yeah.
No, you're not big on cinnamon.
I'm not big on cinnamon. It's something about the ginger thing.
Has just gone
Off
Off the rails again. So
I don't think
anyway,
it was on the
We're
rails.
still talking about branding.
Scratch and sniff? Seriously?
Dude, I'm not saying it works for everybody, but for some clients, that should be part of their
I
brand.
digress. Go for it.
I
Have
mean,
fun.
well, think about how important food is to our brand.
Well,
I mean, we literally built our Instagram around snacks and
it
social
needs to
media.
smell like champagne.
Does champagne have a smell,
Not
like a
really.
good smell?
Well, I guess, it doesn't have much of a smell, does it? Anyway, I'm just spitballing here. So
That's fine.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
genuine and authentic messaging. So if somebody is hearing this and they're going, well, this all sounds great, and I definitely buy into everything that you've said so far, but where do I start? I mean, obviously they can contact the Spark Social,
Yeah.
and they can get started. But what if they don't even have a clue about what their brand is?
I think if they don't have a clue where their brand is, they need to go back and work with a branding expert to extract like that mission, that why, and really just stand behind. And any business could do this. You could just be a local restaurant, but what is your why? Are you opening your restaurant because you're trying to provide a professional upscale setting with craft cocktails? Are you opening your restaurant to provide a family-friendly dining spot that, fills a need in the community? What is your why? And who do you want to be on social? And who do you want to be off social? It should be the same thing. And then show up and let that resonate. So work with your branding expert and then bring it to social. And bring it to social as a mindset, not an afterthought. I think a lot of businesses, social media, it's like, oh, I got to post something. The flip side, the way Nicole and I operate is we look around us every day for opportunity for content.
Yeah.
And our mindset is social all the time.
To each his own.
We just laugh about it because we do a lot of
But-
that kind of thing.
that's your-
Our
That's your brand.
whiteboard
That's your voice.
sessions, team meetings, off-site meetings,
Yeah.
anything can be content.
Yeah.
And you really need to show up. You
My problem is I
really need
forget
to
about it
show
till
up.
after I've already left and
Well,
gone, "God,
yeah.
I should have done this.
Yeah.
I
And
should have
that's
done that."
exactly why we work so hard to try to remember to do it beforehand with pictures of,
As of right now, who's
exactly
doing
Take a
this?
picture of
content.
us.
Yeah.
Content.
Just to give you a little bit of a background here, Justin just decided for the first time today to pull out his phone and take a picture of us.
Yeah.
Way to call
you
him
did
out
better-
on it.
Justin, you did better than I
Seemed like
did.
the time to do it.
Justin, you did better than I did. I still haven't pulled out my phone yet.
And you know what? That's a great point, Justin, because we've definitely done pictures of us podcasting before. But here's the thing with social, just because you've posted it once doesn't mean everybody's seen it. You really need to hammer it over the head. You need to keep hammering people over the head with it. One, because not everybody sees everything you post. So posting things multiple times gives you more exposure. And two, reminding people.
Yeah.
I bet you half of the people that know I have a social media agency don't know I have a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I need
Don't
to
talk
post
about
it every single time. And people just forget, it's busy, it's noisy out there. So remind them. Yeah.
You don't have to do it in real time. That is what I think people really forget. You don't have to. You can, and it is valuable to do that as often as you can, as possible. But you can do it later. No one's going to know. No one's going to know what day of the week that you guys record the podcast. No
Right.
one knows what day of the week
I'm
that
gonna
we
know,
went
Justin.
to Wildflower or or something along those lines. Everybody gets caught up in like, oh, I got to post this right now. Just snap a photo and then experience the moment and enjoy the experience. And then later on, when you have time, like I end up posting stuff a lot of times in bed before I go to sleep that night, or the next morning when I wake up and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do today? Oh, I should probably show up on social.
Well, that takes away some of the panic.
Yeah.
No panic.
On the flip side,
And
so
it puts
don't.
it into the panic of remembering to do it afterwards.
Yeah.
I just added a new panic.
Well, no,
for
if
you.
it's a routine, if you do it like same time every day, like, oh, now as I do my social.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
So give yourself some flexibility there. Don't feel like you have to do it right then and there. Do have a plan, but also be willing to fluctuate with your messages and your energy. So some of the best posts I think that Nicole and I come up with are literally on a whim. We're just like, yeah, let's just put
Let's
this in a
just get this
message.
out
Yeah. So it could be about something that's going on within our agency that we're struggling with, like Nicole said. And sometimes the best posts come from just authentically just typing it out and getting it posted.
Yeah.
And there might be a typo here and there. At the end of the day,
Who cares?
go edit it. Yeah. Who cares? It's us. It's our voice.
Yeah.
Show your
So
face.
there.
Show up. All right.
And now that we've come most into the podcast, and Justin has just about
Finish posting.
finished posting his Instagram.
All done.
Way to go. Hey, look, my wrist just buzzed to tell me that, hey, look, Justin Kerr mentioned you in their story.
See?
you
I
did
tagged
it.
you.
You tagged me. He's all right, no matter what I
So-
say. Anyway.
Any
so-
other closing tips, Nicole, or inspiration?
I think to sum up,
Let me sum up.
Yes, it's important to bring your brand to social. Okay. It's important to know what your voice is so that anybody in your organization can match that voice on social. Show up, be authentic, and don't be a perfectionist.
Correct. Nailed it.
I'm going home.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds
Well,
good.
With that,
I would say thanks for joining us, Nicole, but I mean, feels like you're part of this podcast anyway. But it was nice of you to walk down the hallway
Oh,
and
you're welcome.
spend some time with us.
Yeah, I was happy to do it.
Awesome.
so until next time,
This wraps up this episode, and we'll see you later.
bye. Thank you for joining us today. And as always, you can find the back episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts. And you can also find us on our YouTube channel. Both of them are the Marketing Essentials team.
You can find us on the web at marketingessentialsteam.com. And if you subscribe through our website, you'll receive a weekly email and letting you know when each episode has been published. Also, you'll receive a link to subscriber-only content.
You can also find us on Facebook in our private Facebook group. Just search Little Roadie Marketing Support Group. It's a great place for other marketing professionals and business owners where we can share marketing advice, challenges, and general trends. Hope to see you there.